So I think we start with Liverpool because they're currently in talks with Leverkusen and Florian Wirtz, for that fee over 100 million. So it's a big, big, big fee. Um, I'm excited by it because of the type of quality the player is. He's only just turned 22 years old. He's young. He's one of the highest rated young players out there in the world that I'm sure anyone would be in for if they could get him. So it's exciting that Liverpool are in that mix for him. With regards to where he's going to play, um, I think he's going to come in and be that kind of Firmino spearhead of the attack, top of the diamond, however you want to play it in the shape. But if you look at how Slot used all his forwards this season, he had Diaz dropping in a lot through the middle when he played him. He had Jota doing the same. Nunes can't really do that, but he was asking Nunes to do that. So I think he wants someone that's going to come in there and do that. I don't think Liverpool are going to go for like Isaac down the middle. I would be surprised if they are anyway, especially if this is going to be the buy. So I think it's going to be that kind of Roberto Firmino, attacking midfielder in there almost. And your two wide guys are really the ones that are going to be getting the goals. So you want a creative player in there, and the game does go through Mohamed Salah at the moment, which is the only kind of concept in terms of that maybe doesn't work, because what I'm saying is you're making Flirts be the guy that comes in, drops the ball and gets it. But Liverpool have got to still plan ahead for when Salah is going to leave in the next 2 years, and also you just never know what's going to happen. There could be a dip off in form, and that also may take the onus off him in terms of creativity and allow him even more time and space to get in the areas that he wants to get into and get some more goals. So I'm excited about it, and I think a lot of people that watch him will say he kind of drifts over kind of to the left hand side, not like he's in a winger or anything like that. And how would that fit Liverpool? I don't see us doing that with him. I think we've offered him a different type of role, because I just don't see us selling for the likes of like Luis Diaz, who I know Barcelona have said that they're interested in. We've said no sale. There's always a price for somebody, but I think he likes Diaz off that side. He likes Gakpo off that side. I think that's boxed down for the season. He's going to run with those two guys, and then maybe come next season see what happens with Diaz and Gakpo. So I just don't see Wirtz, if we sign him, kind of playing over the left hand side like that. So I do think he's going to have to be more central. With the way the Liverpool squad's made up, maybe with a view in a year or two, if you adapt the team a little bit, you move him over there if you want to. But again, he's not like a winger. He's that guy that likes to play in the pockets and pick the ball up and go from there. So I think if we just look at numbers, I just talked about the statistics in the Ian Graham book. Numbers for me, the most important ones always are as a fan, and we're as a coach, and even as a player, is if you're an attacking player, it's how many goals and assists you bring into the team. There's loads of different things that you can bring. They talk about in that book about Firmino, about how he can play, and he could have played in 3 different positions, and that actually put a lot of teams off, because it was like, well, where's his best position? But Liverpool deemed that, okay, maybe 10 is his best position, dropping in there as that kind of false 9, but if we need to, he can play off the left, he can play off the right, and we're still going to get a good player, and he gives value to all of that. So there's obviously other things that come with it than just goals and assists, don't get me wrong, but I want to just kind of take this video to kind of look at just the raw numbers quickly about all these transfers that we're looking at. So he's played 31 games in the Bundesliga this season. He scored 10 goals and got 13 assists. That's double figures on both of those. If I'm signing someone for a plus 100 million and he's playing in that area, I'm probably wanting to be hitting that, absolutely no question. So I think that's absolutely acceptable. He plays 9 games in the Champions League, he scores 6 goals, and he gets 1 assist. He gets an assist in the Pokal Cup, if that's how I say it. So in a total, he's played 45 games this season. He's got 16 goals, and 15 assists. I'm taking that. That's high level double figures. We're hitting up into 20 with both numbers. I think for 100 plus million, that's what you're wanting to look to hit. Absolutely. If not, one of them's got to fluctuate extremely higher than the other, right? 20 assists, 8 goals. Cool. We'll still take that, or vice versa. 20 goals, 8 assists, we'll take that. So they're in around the numbers that I think, you want to be hitting if you're buying a player of that nature. And again, reading this book and looking how meticulous Liverpool are in and how they want to go about it and who they're going to buy and that kind of whole data model. And the really cool thing about it is he's really adamant in the book. Everybody still has to agree. If the data guys put someone forward and Michael Edwards isn't sure and the scouting staff's not sure and the manager's not sure, then it's a no-go. What they're trying to get to is everyone to come to an agreement, obviously, and they feel if everyone comes to an agreement, then there's less chance of that transfer failing, because scouts are seeing it that way, the data guys are saying yeah, the manager's like yeah, I like him, and then Michael Edwards, who has got his kind of own history about looking at players and stuff. It's really cool how he kind of looks at the game, has his opinion on it, and if they all tick those boxes, touch wood, obviously it doesn't play into psychology and how they're going to fit into the culture of the club and everything like that, but there's less likely of it to fail. So Let's just have a look at Wirtz's numbers in the season before that. Obviously, Leverkusen do win the league there. He's played 32 Bundesliga games, 11 goals and 12 assists. He then gets 4 in the Europa League, 4 goals, 4 assists as well in the Europa League, 3 goals in the Cup, 4 goals in the Cup. So again, he's hitting those numbers of 18 goals the season before and 20 assists. That's exactly what I just said. I mean, that's even higher than what he hit this season. I think he might have had a little bit of injuries. Not too sure. So, if you look at those last 2 seasons of data and you're hoping he's going to improve, and he's 22 and he's showing it in the Bundesliga, he's showing it in the Champions League, he's showing it in Europe, then you're going to whack that 100 million down for him. So really excited. I think, the longer it goes on, the more nervous you get, because Liverpool have been stung with all these types of deals in the past, like Caicedo and guys like that, where they go big in for money. But it feels like with the kind of the nerds, the Michael Edwards and stuff back like that, they'll try and get it in, and I don't think it would be this public if they weren't already in. It'll just be finer details, a lot of money. There's rumours that they want a couple of players off us, maybe an Elliot or something like that in exchange. So there's a lot that goes into it. So fingers crossed over the kind of next week or so, from a Liverpool point of view, they kind of get that over the line. But Wirtz, from a statistical point of view of what he's going to bring, from the eye test, we all know, if you've seen him and you watched him play, you would say, yeah, a lot of money. He's going to have to come in and hit the ground running, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of eyes on him for that. And also, how did Liverpool handle having that big money signing, probably the biggest signing of the transfer window? It's not something they usually do. Spent money on Van Dijk and Alisson when it was needed. And of course, people kind of gawked at those at the time. Most expensive for a keeper, most expensive for a centre-back. But look at how they've worked out. So Liverpool will be hoping that they've done their due diligence and research into this.